we're here with Naomi McCullough from Beautiful Savage Flowers in Orange County to talk a little bit about the process that goes into picking out flowers for the perfect wedding. So Naomi, when a bride comes, what are the big trends that you're seeing that brides like these days?
Well, one of the biggest things that we're seeing this year is color, and it kind of goes both ways. So more of like the dark and moody florals, or even more of kind of like the bright and bold colors too. And then it also leads into another trend that we're seeing, which is more dramatic florals too. So those three trends have been really huge this year. Also adding in non-traditional floral elements, things like pampas grass or wheat or even dried flower elements. So that's becoming very popular. And then along those lines too, balloon walls are becoming huge. Yes, so I know. But they're fun, and they come in all colors and textures even, and prints, and they just create a very beautiful statement piece, and you can incorporate flowers into those balloon walls, which is fun. Another thing that we're seeing a lot of is the influence of the royal wedding. So that has been huge.
Harry and Meghan strike again.
Harry and Meghan. But just doing those very lush and organic florals with the greenery and then the ivory flower accents, that has been huge. So I think that's probably the biggest for me so far. That seemed to really resonate with a lot of brides. That kind of just very natural, very free-flowing look. So that has been huge. And then kind of on the other end too, doing more of like a minimalist color story and theme too. So maybe you just choose 2 to 3 colors at the most, and you keep your flowers very clean, very elegant. And it could just be doing bud bases down the center of the table. And they'll be beautiful, and they'll have single blooms in them, and they'll incorporate all your colors, but they're just very simple and very clean. So, but overall what we're seeing too, even with those trends, they kind of all go back to a bride just finding out what it is that she loves and not going the traditional route. So finding those elements that speak to her, that make her happy, things like pampas grass or dried flowers. They're not traditional, but she loves them and she wants them to be a part of her wedding. So that's kind of where it seems like these trends are coming from. Brides just being a little bit more free to express themselves and what they want and really going for it.
So once they find what they're looking for and what they want, how does that translate into the actual finished product?
The actual finished product, yes. Well, Pinterest is a great place for couples to start with, at least, to look and see what it is that they like and what they don't like. Because you can search anything and everything on there. You can search even just by your color story. So you can look up yellow, lavender, ivory, floral wedding centerpieces on there, or bridal bouquet, and all these things will come up.
Right.
And you can start pinning and you can start saving things that that you love, and then from there your style kind of develops. And at that point, once you have some of those pictures pulled together, some inspiration, that is kind of the stage where you want to reach out to a professional, because a professional is what's going to help you bring those inspiration pictures to life.
Because if you flash through a Pinterest board, once you're done doing that, the brides, it's like, whoa, there's a lot. It's overwhelming.
There's a lot. It is.
It's overwhelming.
It is.
So you take that and what do you do with it?
So I take it and I look through it, and I pull out the elements that I just kind of get a feel for, as far as you'll notice sometimes, you won't know this when you're pinning, but I'll notice it when I'm looking through your board, that you'll have pinned the same thing more than once. So you'll have searched maybe different searches, and that one will keep coming up and you'll keep pinning it. So that tells me, okay, this is one of her favorites. This is what I know is like something that she really loves, and I can kind of pull that out a little bit, and then from there build on it with other elements from her board that I think will match and go together. But the other important thing too, for when you do reach out to that professional, is to let them know what your budget is, because
the budget.
I know it's so hard.
Busts the fun out of everything.
It totally kills the moment. It kills the moment. But if you give somebody if you give your florist even just a few inspiration pictures, or you choose to share that board with them, and you give them the budget, then that really helps them as they're going through your board and as they're figuring out your vibe and your style, to make proposals and suggestions that are going to fit within that budget.
That way when you get it, you're not overwhelmed with, whoa,
Exactly.
so that makes sense.
Exactly. And even if you don't know what your budget is, let them know, kind of, just tell them that, say, I have no idea. I don't know what my budget is. I've, never done this before. Completely understandable. But give them a range at least. Say, I would like to be within this if that's possible. And the florist can let you know. And also a lot of times florists do have minimums too. So kind of, get a feel for their minimum, and if that fits into your budget, then definitely reach out to them. But yeah, the budget part is a huge portion when you go out to your florist. Let her know what it is so she can really help you.
She's trying to help. It's
Yes,
a help
exactly.
thing. One of the things I love that you do, Naomi, is that you are really good about creating that proposal that shows visually what it's going to look like, so that brides can actually see the reality of what their wedding florals will look like.
Yes, pictures are huge. I mean, and that's part of our process. We try to give as many pictures as possible, pictures of the flowers and pictures of each of the items that we're proposing. And a lot of times these are just inspiration pictures, but it gives you an idea of, okay, this is the look and the feel that we're going for. And then you can see the actual flowers that we're proposing too, to really help you further visualize it. So, which I know for a lot of my brides, that's kind of one of the first things they say, is that I get what you're proposing and it totally fits me. So it makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, which helps.
Makes them feel heard, which is nice.
Yes, exactly.
Because I think when you have that Pinterest board, you don't even know what it looks like, and you don't even understand it. And so it's nice that it's streamlined by a professional so that you can have a clear vision.
Exactly.
We talked a little bit about budget, but realistically, I mean, we look at things like Harry and Meghan's wedding, which was amazing.
Yes.
And people say they want that too.
Yes.
Realistically, though, how much is that, and why are flowers so expensive?
Yes. Well, I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is like 100% true, but this is what the internet told me.
World Wide Web.
I know, exactly. But they told me, it said on there, I read somewhere that Meghan and Harry's wedding, flowers alone cost somewhere around $100,000.
So most people don't have that budget when it comes to flowers.
Exactly. And I would say that flower wall, that arch that you see all of her pictures standing in front of, probably somewhere around 20,000 plus just for that wall. So there's a lot that goes into the pricing of your flowers. So the types of flowers that you're choosing, how much you need in regards to even just, bridesmaids and centerpieces and things like that, all of that adds up. And there's a few things that brides tend to think are going to make it cheaper, which is a little hard. So a lot of times I'll be asked, well, can you just give me seasonal flowers? Just whatever's in season. Well, there's a lot of flowers in season at any given time of the year. And for the most part, I mean, that doesn't necessarily equal cheap, because if you're getting married in the spring, and which is a beautiful time of year to get married, but peonies are in season in spring. That's their biggest season. Peonies are considered a premium flower, which ours is going to drastically increase your price.
Regardless of when you get married.
Regardless of when you get married, exactly. So seasonal flowers doesn't necessarily mean cheap either.
So it's not one of those. We shouldn't think, if we're going seasonal, we'll get a discount on something.
Exactly. And the same thing too goes for greenery. I mean, I get the question a lot, well, I just want greenery. I just want a lot of greenery and then a few florals in there. Well, it doesn't really work out that way in the end, unfortunately. It still goes back to how much you need of each item. And probably the three things that affect your pricing the most are the number of bridesmaids you have. Your ceremony florals, and then how many centerpieces you're having. So, which is also very much affected by your guest count. So, if you're in that like 100 to 150 range, just know if you hit that 150 range, you're looking at anywhere between 5 to 7 more centerpieces.
Which is going to get that budget up.
Which is going to get that budget up.
It's all about that head count.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. That head count affects everything in your budget, really. I mean, well, at least for flowers, it affects everything. It affects everything. It affects everything. So yeah, if you're right in that 100 to 150 range, then yeah, you want to be as close to that 100 as possible, because those extra 50 people are going to cost you in more ways than one.
Definitely. So what would you say sets your business apart from others out there?
I would say it's our general approach to the bride, not necessarily to the flowers part, but more to the bride. So our goal is to always make the bride feel comfortable when she comes to us and asks us for flower information. Because again, it's the first time that they're doing it. Ordering flowers on this large of a scale, it can be daunting, it can be overwhelming, and there's so many things that you don't know, which I know when I go into a situation like that, it stresses me out because I don't know, and I don't know what questions to ask, and I don't even know how to ask them.
It's intimidating.
It's intimidating. So really trying to take the stress out of that and just be as understanding as possible and encouraging as possible too. So tell me what your budget is. Yes, I'd love to see your Pinterest board. Don't be afraid to tell me what your colors are or what your theme is. I need all of that information, and then I will help you. I will give you options that help you bring it to life.
One other question. Sometimes you have that DIY bride that thinks, I can just make the centerpieces by myself or my mom or my aunt or my friend Wanda. What are your thoughts on that?
There is a lot more work that goes into flowers than anybody realizes. It is for just the actual flower making process for me. Forget all of the, sending the proposal and communicating with the brides and ordering the flowers and all of that. That process is a whole other story. But for that DIY bride who thinks she can go to the mart, pick up her flowers, bring them back and make them, it can easily become a 3-day process for your average event of 100 to 120 people. Wow. You have to go get the flowers, you have to clean the flowers and process the flowers, you have to let them sit and rest for a little bit. And all of this is you're filling buckets of water, you're in and out of a cooler. Then you spend a day arranging, and it takes time to arrange these flowers. It does not happen fast. It takes time. It takes time, and it's part of the process for us, and it's part of our favorite part of the process is actually taking all these flowers and putting them together and making your designs. But they take time. They take a lot of time, and that is a full day's work. Again, depending on the size of your wedding, could be 2, 3, 4 days worth of work, depending on how much you need of everything. And then there's the process of packing it all up, delivering it to the venue, and putting it out on the table. Which is another day's work.
It's another day's work. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a process. So it's not that easy. And the thing I always try to tell DIY brides too is think of this person that you're going to be having do these flowers for you, or helping you with this. Are they somebody that you would rather have be there with you on your day, enjoying all these special moments, part of these special moments and part of your memories, or do you want them running around like a crazy person trying to get flowers on your table? So that's the other thing too. Like, you want your guests and your family and your friends to really enjoy the day with you. You don't want to have somebody stressed out because they're trying to create your flowers. That's what you hire a professional to do.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your beautiful flowers.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.